The ranch is quiet. The horses run free under the open sky, but something feels different. In season 19 of Heartland, the story of Amy and Nathan reaches a turning point. It is not just about love anymore, it is about endings, choices, and the weight of saying goodbye. Fans who have followed their journey for years are about to see their most emotional chapter yet. For nearly 2 decades, Heartland has given us stories of family, love, and resilience, all set against the beautiful backdrop of the Canadian countryside. At the center of it, Amy has always been a guiding light, someone who heals not only horses but also the hearts of the people around her. Through struggles, heartbreaks, and triumphs, Amy's journey has been one of growth, sacrifice, and hope. She has faced loss, she has endured loneliness, but every season she found strength within herself to carry forward. Season 19 is no different, but this time, the stakes feel heavier than ever. When Nathan first entered Amy's story, there was hesitation from fans. Many wondered if his presence would ever fill the space left behind by past love and loss. But, slowly, Nathan became more than just a supporting character. He became Amy's partner in ways that went beyond romance. He understood the ranch, he respected her independence, and he carried his own quiet struggles that made him feel real and human. Over the past seasons, Nathan and Amy's story became one of healing to people finding pieces of themselves in each other. Season 18 left us with questions, with unresolved emotions, and with the sense that something was still missing in their lives. Amy was torn between holding onto the familiar and facing a future that asked for change. Nathan was caught between his duties and his feelings, often choosing silence when words were needed most. Their relationship wasn't perfect, it was layered with misunderstandings, quiet moments, and unspoken fears. But that is what made it powerful. Now, as season 19 begins, the quiet tension between them has reached its breaking point. The ranch is no longer just a home, it has become a stage for choices that will define their lives. Amy is pulled between her role as a mother, her deep connection to the land, and the possibility of a new chapter with Nathan. Nathan, on the other hand, struggles with the weight of expectations from his past and the future he is unsure he can give. Together, their story feels like it has reached a line that cannot be crossed without change. This season will not just be about love, it will be about closure. Amy and Nathan's journey has always carried echoes of loss and renewal, but now the narrative seems to suggest an ending, not an abrupt goodbye, but the kind of ending that feels natural, like the final note of a song that has played for years. The show has prepared us slowly, scene by scene, with small hints that their emotional arc may not stretch beyond season 19. Fans can already feel it. The way the characters pause before speaking, the subtle distance in their exchanges, the reflective moments by the river or in the barn, everything points toward an emotional farewell. Heartland has always been about family and continuity, but even within such a world, some stories need to rest. Amy and Nathan's might be one of them. And yet, this isn't just a sad story. It is also a celebration of how far they've come. Season 19 will remind us why we loved them, why their bond mattered, and why endings, though painful, can still carry beauty. Because sometimes, it is not about how long a story lasts, it is about the meaning it leaves behind. Season 19 begins with a silence that speaks louder than words. The camera lingers on the wide fields of Heartland, the golden light of morning falling over the ranch, and we sense it immediately. Something has changed. Amy is still at the heart of it all, working with the horses, guiding her daughter, and carrying the legacy of her family. Yet, behind her calm strength, there is a heaviness, a question that she has not spoken out loud, but one that defines her every action this season. How long can she keep holding everything together? Nathan feels this silence too. He is no stranger to carrying burdens, but the way he looks at Amy tells us that he understands her struggle. In season 19, Nathan is no longer just a man standing beside her, he becomes the mirror to her doubts. His own journey is filled with shadows of the past, of responsibilities he cannot escape, and of promises he wonders if he can keep. Together, their story becomes less about what they want from each other, and more about what they can endure to move forward. This season does not rely on big, loud drama. Instead, it speaks through smaller, quieter moments, the kind that stay with you long after an episode ends. A shared glance in the barn, where words are replaced by emotions they are too afraid to voice. A simple touch on the hand, heavy with meaning, telling us more than dialogue ever could. The writers of Heartland know the power of restraint, and in season 19, they use it to make every scene between Amy and Nathan feel like it could be their last together. What makes this season so heavy with emotion is not just the possibility of an ending, it is the way it reflects real life. Amy is torn between her role as a mother, her love for the ranch, and her feelings for Nathan. She knows she cannot give her heart to one part of her life without risking losing something else. Nathan, meanwhile, struggles with the weight of living up to expectations both from his family and from Amy. He fears becoming a man who promises more than he can deliver. That fear, quietly but powerfully, becomes one of the greatest obstacles in their story, and yet there is beauty in this pain. The emotional weight of season 19 comes not only from heartbreak, but from the depth of love that exists between Amy and Nathan. Every disagreement, every hesitation, is built on the foundation of how much they mean to each other. That is why fans feel it so deeply, because love in Heartland has never been about fairy tales. It has always been about sacrifice, compromise, and sometimes letting go. Season 19 promises to be a season of reflection. We will see Amy facing choices she has long avoided. We will see Nathan questioning the path he has taken. And we will see both of them standing at the crossroads of their relationship, where one step forward could mean a new future together, but one step back could mean the end of everything they've built. The emotional weight is not just about them, it also touches the family around them. Jack, with his wisdom, knows when a story is close to its final chapter. Lou, with her strength, sees the cost of Amy's choices. Even the land itself, with its quiet fields and endless skies, feels like a character that carries the history of everything Amy and Nathan have endured. This is what makes season 19 so unique. It is not only a continuation of a story, but the preparation for its ending. The writers are not rushing, they are not forcing an answer. Instead, they are letting us live with Amy and Nathan in this fragile space, where hope and heartbreak exist side by side, and as the season unfolds, we cannot help but feel the weight with them. Every sunset feels like a farewell. Every sunrise feels like a reminder that time is running out. The emotional core of season 19 is clear. Amy and Nathan's love has reached a point where it must either transform or end. Every story reaches a point where silence breaks, where hidden emotions can no longer stay buried. In season 19 of Heartland, that moment belongs to Amy and Nathan. After seasons of subtle gestures, unfinished conversations, and unspoken fears, their story moves into a space where everything must be faced. This is not just about romance, it is about truth. And truth, in Heartland, has always come with a cost. The emotional climax of their journey does not arrive with fireworks or shouting matches. Instead, it creeps in slowly, through tender but painful moments. A late-night conversation in the barn, where Amy's voice trembles as she admits she is tired of holding so much inside. A quiet scene by the river, where Nathan finally lets the weight of his past spill out, confessing the fears he thought he could keep hidden. These are the moments that carry the true power of season 19, not loud endings, but fragile honesty. What makes this climax so unique is the way it mirrors the reality of love and loss. Amy and Nathan's connection has never been simple. They are not a couple built on easy answers or perfect timing. Instead, they are two people who carry scars, who love deeply but cautiously, and who understand that sometimes love is not enough to hold everything together. Season 19 asks the hardest question of all: can two people survive when life itself pulls them in opposite directions? The climax is not about a single fight or a single choice, it is about a build-up of small sacrifices that have added up over the years. Amy has sacrificed time, dreams, and even parts of her heart to keep her family and the ranch strong. Nathan has sacrificed his own desires, always choosing duty over passion, and carrying guilt for the life he feels he cannot fully give her. Together, They have reached a point where the love they share feels both undeniable and unsustainable. There is a scene teased in the early previews of season 19. Amy standing alone in the field, watching the horizon as the sun sets, Nathan approaching but keeping his distance. The symbolism is unmistakable: two souls drawn together, yet separated by something larger than themselves. It is not anger that keeps them apart. It is the quiet realization that love sometimes asks for more than either person can give. And yet, even as the story leans toward an ending, there is hope threaded through the pain. The emotional climax is not only about heartbreak, it is about clarity. For the first time, Amy and Nathan speak openly about what they truly want, what they truly fear, and what they are willing to accept. It is raw, it is difficult, and it is honest. And for fans, it is a moment that feels both devastating and necessary. Heartland has always been a series about growth of people, of families, of relationships. This climax does not betray that tradition. Instead, it honors it by showing us that endings can also be beginnings. If Amy and Nathan's story ends in season 19, it will not be an ending of failure, but one of acceptance, a chapter closing, so another can open, both for them and for the legacy of Heartland itself. The real power of this season lies in the way it forces us to reflect on our own lives. How many of us have held on to something too long, afraid of letting go? How many of us have stood at the edge of a decision, knowing that moving forward meant losing something we loved? That is why Amy and Nathan's emotional climax resonates so deeply. It is not just their story, it is ours. So, will this be the end? Season 19 suggests it might, not in a dramatic collapse, but in a quiet, graceful letting go. The kind of ending that leaves you in tears, not because it shocks you, but because it feels so real, so human, and so inevitable. This is the heart of the emotional climax, not knowing whether Amy and Nathan will walk away together or apart, but understanding that whatever happens, their story has already left a mark that will never fade. When the whispers began that Amy and Nathan's journey could end with season 19, the Heartland fan community didn't stay silent. Across forums, social media pages, and long-running fan groups, the reactions have been a blend of heartbreak, nostalgia, and gratitude. For many viewers, Amy's story has been more than just television. It has been a companion across the years. Watching her grow, heal, and love has mirrored pieces of their own lives. The thought of closing this chapter feels like losing a friend, and that raw emotion is spilling into every corner of the fandom. Fans are already sharing what Amy and Nathan mean to them. Some remember when Nathan first entered the series, cautious, but quietly strong, and how slowly he earned his place in Amy's heart. Others talk about Amy's resilience, how she inspired them to stay strong through loss, to keep moving forward when life became heavy. For many, Amy and Nathan together represented a kind of hope that even after tragedy, love can bloom again. That message has carried people through their own struggles, and that is why this possible ending cuts so deeply. But the reactions are not only about sadness. They are also about legacy. Heartland has never been just a love story. It has always been a story about family, community, and the ties that keep people together. Amy and Nathan's emotional arc is just one part of that, but it is a part that shaped an entire era of the show. Fans know this, and they honor it. They share clips of Amy and Nathan's most tender moments. They write messages about how much their story mattered, and they hold on to the belief that even if season 19 marks the end, it is an ending worth celebrating. Legacy is what makes Heartland different from any other series. The show has lasted for nearly 2 decades, crossing generations of viewers. Grandparents watch it with their grandchildren, families gather around to share Sunday evenings with it, and people across the world connect to its themes of resilience and love. Amy and Nathan's story is woven into that larger fabric. Their bond, their struggles, their quiet moments, all of it becomes part of the memory of Heartland itself. When fans talk about them, they are not just talking about characters. They are talking about a piece of themselves. The online reactions reveal another truth. Fans are not just preparing for an ending, they are preparing for the grief that comes with it. Some write that they will cry through every episode of season 19. Others say they will rewatch the earlier seasons to remind themselves how far Amy has come. Many promise that no matter how it ends, they will stay with Heartland until the final frame, because the show has given them too much to walk away now. That kind of devotion is rare, and it proves that Amy and Nathan's legacy is already secure. What makes their legacy even more powerful is how it connects to the land itself. The ranch, the horses, the wide skies, these were never just settings. They were symbols of freedom, healing, and continuity. When fans remember Amy and Nathan, they will also remember the barn where they shared their hardest truths, the fields where they worked side by side, the horses that carried them through their struggles. The legacy is not just emotional, it is visual, timeless, and unshakable. In the end, legacy is not about how long a character stays on screen. It is about how deeply they leave their mark. Amy and Nathan's journey may end in season 19, but the way it shaped Heartland and touched fans across the world will remain long after. Their story has become a reminder that endings are not failures, they are proof that something meaningful existed in the first place. So, as fans prepare for the emotional farewell, they also prepare to carry Amy and Nathan with them through memories, through rewatching their favorite episodes, through the lessons learned from their struggles and their love. This is the true gift of Heartland. It gives its audience stories that stay, stories that linger, stories that live on even after the credits roll. Season 19 may close the chapter on Amy and Nathan, but it cannot erase what they have given to the world. And that is why fans will always return to remember, to feel, and to carry forward the legacy of two characters who taught us that even in heartbreak, there is beauty. The sun sets over the ranch, casting long shadows across the fields. For nearly 20 years, Heartland has been more than a show, it has been a journey. Season 19 may mark the final page of Amy and Nathan's story, but endings do not erase what came before. They give it meaning, they give it weight, and they remind us why we cared so deeply in the first place. This season is not just about loss, it is about legacy. It is about watching two characters we've grown with face their final trials, and understanding that love, even when it changes or fades, leaves behind something eternal. Amy's strength, Nathan's quiet devotion, their laughter, their struggles, their unspoken words, all of it becomes part of Heartland's heartbeat, a rhythm that will echo long after the last episode airs. As fans, we are invited to feel this ending together, to remember the nights we stayed up watching just one more episode, the tears we shed during heartbreak, the smiles that came when Amy found joy again. And now, we are invited to walk with her one last time, through the ranch, through the memories, toward whatever the future holds. But endings are not meant to silence us, they are meant to spark conversation. Amy and Nathan's journey may be reaching its conclusion, but their impact lives on in us, the fans. This is where your voice matters. What has their story meant to you? How has Heartland touched your life? Are you ready to say goodbye? Or do you believe there is still more to tell? So, as season 19 unfolds in 2025, don't just watch. Be part of the legacy. Share your thoughts, your memories, and your hopes. Talk about the moments that moved you, the lessons that stayed with you, and the reasons you will never forget Amy and Nathan. Because stories like this don't end when the credits roll, they continue through the people who carry them. And that's us. That's you, the Heartland family. Season 19 will test our hearts, it will challenge our emotions, and it may break us in ways we're not ready for. But it will also remind us of the beauty of love, the strength of family, and the truth that even when stories end, their spirit remains. So saddle up, because this isn't just another season, it's the farewell we've been waiting for, and the one we'll never forget.